Welcome to Next Level Greatness, the podcast. Around here, we'll be talking about all things expansion, going from good to great and from great to greatness. I'm your host, Barbie Collab. Get ready for your next level. Let's do this. Welcome to episode 14 of Next Level Greatness. I'm just going to put it out there. If we all knew how to manifest, we would have happy people, joyous people, fulfilled people, wealthier people running around this world. So even if you know about manifestation, even if you know the steps to manifestation, there are limiting beliefs or blocks that you may have. They may be blind spots that are keeping you from manifesting. So today's topic is on how to identify thoughts, feelings that are getting in the way of getting what you really want. They're getting in the way of your manifestation. It is early in the morning here in Texas, and I am so excited to talk about this topic. Before we jump in, I have a special surprise. So on August 3rd, it's a Wednesday at 12 o'clock Central, I will be doing and offering a 90-minute deep dive into manifestation talk. It will be $99, and I will put the link in the show notes. But the special surprise is that I just thought it would be fun to do this. If you leave a review and you send me a screenshot to my new Instagram, because it got deactivated, the old one, to barbie.kalev. You send me a screenshot of your review. I will put your name in a little hat, and on August 1st, I will pick a name out of the hat. I might actually pick out 2 names, and you will be entered to win the workshop for free, obviously, because you'd win it. And in case you purchase the workshop, I will just refund you the $99. So again, just go ahead and leave a 5-star review. Hopefully it's a 5-star review. If you love my podcast, send me a screenshot at barbie.kalev on Instagram, and I will enter your name to win. How exciting. And if you can't jump in live to my 90-minute deep dive workshop, it's okay. You can listen to the recording. There's absolutely no way that every person that wants to attend is going to be able to attend live at 12 o'clock Central Time. So it's totally okay. I do this all the time with my courses, but also as a student of other courses and other workshops that I myself take, and I don't mind watching the recording at all. So let's begin. So you want to learn how to identify the thoughts that are getting in the way of your manifestation. How many times have you heard yourself, this is the key, I'd love to start a business, but you fill in the blank with whatever your but is. But I'm too old, but my spouse doesn't support me. I'd love to be in a wonderful relationship, but you fill in the blank. All the men are taken, all the women are taken. Or I'd love to get in shape, but I'm too busy, or I have too much of a busy life with my children. The key word here is the but. You have this desire, and as soon as you state this desire, you follow it with a limitation, which is the but. So that is the first sign that you have a limiting belief. That is how you can identify what that thing is that is getting in the way. Because as I just said, it's a belief. It is not a fact. I'm not saying that you don't have challenges. Let me tell you, Everybody has challenges. Everybody has limiting beliefs. And as I just said that, I was watching, I don't know why I was watching this, but I was watching an interview with Mickey Rourke. He's an actor. I think everybody knows from 9.5 Weeks, right? And he's done a lot of work. But I think he's had a lot of drug use. I mean, he completely disfigured his face with all the plastic surgery. And I'm not judging him. I was really just watching and actually had a lot of great things to say and so much compassion. He was talking about the war in Ukraine and specific scenes that touched him. And I was so touched by his compassion. But my point is that having money, having access to all the resources doesn't necessarily guarantee a good life. So as human beings, we all have stuff. We all have limiting beliefs. We all have challenges. So our challenges are not only based on money and a lack of resources. But if you are one of those people that, and it happens to me too, right? I'm human too, where I have a desire, and if I catch myself saying, but, that's a sign that I have a limiting belief. So just become aware of that. The next point is awareness. Start becoming aware. I know I take it for granted, and I think that people are self-aware. I don't believe that's actually true. I think that I would venture to say, I don't have the statistics, but I think about 95% of the population, maybe more, is just walking around not being aware that there's a little voice inside of our heads that is thinking the thoughts, and that there is our consciousness. Eckhart Tolle talks so much about this, right? This is his whole work about that other part of our being that is aware that we are aware. So we can begin to become aware of the thoughts that come up when we think about the things that we want to manifest, when we think about our desires. So let's say that you desire to start your own business, or that you want to be in a certain position in your company, or you want to have a certain type of relationship with your children, with your spouse, with your partner, whatever, and just begin to notice, begin to become aware of the thoughts that come up, because you might not be aware. For example, I can't, I'll never, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not fit enough, I'm not thin enough. I mean, the parade of weeds in our head are really endless. And we can only begin to change what is when we become aware. Now, before getting into the techniques and the strategies and the tips, really, I don't know, sometimes when I use the word techniques and strategies, it just sounds so like, you have a plan of attack and this is how you're going to do it. It's a much softer, more gentler, more compassionate approach. So insight, I'm offering you techniques, I'm offering you strategies. We can use the word too. But before I do that, I want to say, just in my work with thousands of people over 15 years having an online business, that there are 3 kinds of people that I've noticed when it comes to manifestation. And by manifestation, I simply mean bringing into fruition your desires, right? And sometimes that is achieving your goals. And manifestation, again, is just bringing what you desire, and sometimes what you don't desire, into your reality. And a lot of us are manifesting. We are bringing things into reality that we don't want, but that's because of a lack of awareness and our mindset and our heart set. So there are 3 kinds of people when it comes to manifestation. The first kind of people, and let me just preface this too by saying that I'm sure there are more than 3 people, and I'm just doing this just for the sake of simplicity, but there are 3 general categories. The first one, the people that I've encountered, and the most frustrating people to work with, and in fact, I've decided I don't want to work with people that have a very closed and negative mindset that'll say things like, that will never happen for me, right? Or I just have no luck. And if you identify as this person, if you recognize that you are this kind of person, you have a decision to make. So just keep listening. you truly believe that you are stuck in whatever circumstances you find yourself in. So if you're in a bad relationship and you just like, well, this is just the way it is, there's nothing that's going to change it. Or it could be with your marriage. It could be with weight loss. Like, this is the way that I'm supposed to be. I've tried everything and this is just the way that it is forever. And then when, in my experience, in my work with my network marketing business, when I have tried to share the tools that I know that I have, or the insight that I have, in order to help this type of individual to get out of that stuckness or that rut, they always counter with, yeah, but. And to me, that's a signal that this person is not ready for help, and I back off, because I'm not in the convincing business. And then if I drag the person in, whether it's to work the business or to work with them, it's going to be an unpleasant experience for me, a waste of money for them. And my time is precious. My time is my most beautiful commodity. And so I, at this point, refuse. If you find yourself believing that you've been punished by fate, by God, and you have a fixed mindset, you are just stuck in thinking that this is the way things are, then it's going to be really hard to change. Manifestation is not going to work for you. It's going to work for you in the sense that you're going to keep getting what you don't want to get, because those are the thoughts that you keep thinking. So I met this woman who's a very nice woman, actually. We were just talking about relationships, and I asked her if she had a partner, boyfriend, whatever. And she said, no, I never want a relationship. And she was young. She is in her early 30s. And she said, my father cheated on my mother. And then when I went to college, I had a boyfriend and I really loved him, and then he cheated on me. So he confirmed what I already knew. What's happening right there? It's confirmation bias, right? Like, she knew it was going to happen. She manifested that. And so now at 30 something years old, she has vowed to never be in a relationship again. So let's say she lives till she's 100, right? She's got, 60 something years to live without the possibility of being in a relationship. And who knows, people change, and that's none of my business, and I don't really care. But I thought this was just such a poignant example of old programming. It's like a record player. We have these beliefs that just go round and round and round and round. It's like a broken cycle. It's very hard to change someone who is radical. My husband and I were talking about that this morning. Like, when you have someone that is very radical in their beliefs, it could be politics, or, I remember one time I posted something on social media about fruitarians, and I took a position on, just eating fruits as your diet. And I got so attacked by this radical group, right? They were so upset that I had a different opinion. And I was like, okay, note to self, don't mess with radical people. So if you are this person, you have to decide, are you willing to see that this is you? And if it's you, you're going to have to do some work there, whether it's therapy, and I'm not joking about that, whether it's therapy or some deep personal development work. But it's tough, because a person that's stuck in that hamster wheel, in that broken record player that keeps going round and round, it's difficult for them to get out. But I can tell you one thing, it has to come from them and not from an outside source. And that outside source is not going to be me. So the second type of person is that you've become aware of patterns, and you are willing to change those patterns. And I love working with this type of person, because they're ready for change. So I wanted to read you something. I have a woman, Chris, who signed up for my Manifestation 101 workshop. And I said, tell me a little bit about what you know about manifestation. And with her permission, I'm reading this. She said, I absolutely know nothing other than the podcasts you do. And every time I tried in the past, it didn't work. So every time she's tried manifestation, it hasn't worked. I do believe it was because of where I was in life and who was around me. So she is aware that the people around her may have been affecting her. I also think it was because I was hoping for a Hail Mary touchdown pass and a miracle rather than believing. Oh, I have so much to say about this. So I'm going to save this for the actual workshop, but she was hoping for a miracle and she didn't actually believe. So whatever was going to come outside of herself. I do know a couple of times in my life things quote unquote happened, and I think these positives were because my energy, focus, and belief made that happen rather than hoping and praying. I will make another episode on the power of prayer, but we need your help in prayer as well. I also think the dark times were because of the low vibrations that kept building and piling on. I dug myself out of that hole and I see things differently and now have the self-confidence and belief. This last sentence, I just don't know how to put it all together. So excited for this journey. So the second type of person is the person that has become aware of patterns. So as you can see in this case, Chris has become aware of many different patterns. She doesn't know how to put all the pieces together. And this is such a wonderful place to be in because it means that she's ready for change. She's ready for the hero's journey. And I love to work with this kind of person. And then the third type of person is, I would say, someone like myself that is very self-aware. I think all the time. I feel all the time. I'm aware that I'm aware. I'm aware of my thoughts. I've done a lot of inner work, a lot of shadow work, psychotherapy, you name it. And I'm manifesting what I want, but I absolutely know that I have blind spots. A guru, I'm not anybody's guru. I don't even pretend that or want that, but a guru is someone that has already found the way and that is already enlightened. I am not a guru. I am a human being that is on a path and I consider myself self-aware. So you might be that person like me that is manifesting, that is creating the things that you want, that is having a wonderful life, but you know that you might have some blind spots. And this is why I myself, even though I teach courses, I also sign up for courses. I also sign up for mentorship. There's someone that I want to be mentored by. She charges $1 million a year. It's on my bucket list. It will happen. It will happen. Please mark this day. It will happen. It will happen. I believe it will happen next year. We'll see. Now we can jump into the techniques, the tips, the strategies, the insight on how to approach your limiting beliefs and the blocks that you have. Again, I don't want to say attack them or annihilate them because that's so unloving and that's so forceful. So the first tip that I have for you is to change or redirect the thoughts when you realize the negative thoughts and the limiting beliefs when you catch yourself having them. So let's say you are daydreaming and at first you're not aware, but then you become aware and you find yourself saying things like, I can't do that because, right? Or I want to, but, or I can never, but, or this is, but. So you can actually say stop, delete, and you can make a hand gesture, whatever works for you, to say stop, delete, and then redirect your thinking. So what is a thought that you want to have? So I would love to start an online business, but I just don't have the resources. So stop. Delete. I'm making my hand gesture, right? Like stop, enough. I am a resourceful person. I am working to figure this out. Okay, so you have to find a sentence and a way for you to redirect to stop the pattern, to redirect your thinking and to reframe. I found myself doing this with my Instagram account. I lost my Instagram account. I found myself having just some limiting beliefs like, oh, this is hard. It's going to be difficult to build an audience again. Is it going to be the right people? Did I make a mistake by not fighting for my account? I mean, I was going into a negative spiral with my thinking. And what does that do to my creativity? It kills my creativity. And when I became aware of the thoughts that I was having, I started to say, stop, redirect my thinking, and let me focus on where I actually want to go. And that is actually the second tip, the second tip. It's focus on where you want to go versus where you are now, why it's not working, and all the challenges that you're having. And I truly, truly believe that this is where most of us spend our time. We spend our time in our present reality. We spend our time focusing on where we are right now, why it's not working, why it's so hard. And I just got really kind of just even saying that. And so when we focus on where we want to go, I even say that and I smile. It's so much more expansive and fun, and my face just like lights up when I focus on where I want to go. And from that place, it's easier to create. I was going to say, you don't have to go to therapy. Some people do, and I have done therapy, so I'm not saying that you don't, but what became $1 million business, I don't think I was in therapy. I wanted it so badly, and I wanted to be successful so badly that I really focused on my excitement, on where I wanted to go, and not on like dissecting every negative feeling and doubt. I really was so focused on, I was future forward and not looking at the past. The third piece of advice that I have for you is when you are trying to or working on manifesting something, we become hyper aware of our behaviors and everything that we are. Honestly, that can be painful. Again, I can relate to that with my new Instagram account. I'm like, oh, my pictures, they're not what I want them to be. I want to rebrand. I want better quality pictures. I'm frustrated with the way that what the thoughts in my head and what I want to share with you are not coming out in the way that I want them to. I shared that last week on the episode 2. And this is where self-compassion and grace come in. Beating yourself up, you're not going to get to the next level by doing that. We need to bring some compassion and grace to manifestation. And our limiting beliefs, our blocks, are going to soften when we bring some love, we bring some self-love. I'm not talking about a manicure, pedicure, massage, although that's nice too. I'm really talking about just acceptance that we're just doing our best. My last point is, hopefully, we're all here to evolve. And we can't look at someone else who already has a mega amount of success and say, you know what, we'll never be like that person, because you have no idea what it's taken that person to become who they are at that moment in time. J-Lo's documentary is the perfect example. When they showed her, and if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. I loved it so much. If you look at where she started as one of the fly girls in Living Color, and from everything, she kind of seemed shy, but you could tell that she stood her ground. She was standing her ground with her curves, and the media was comparing her to the other actresses in Hollywood who were super thin. But slowly through time, you could see, I just got goosebumps. You could see how she evolved into who and what she, more importantly, not what, but more importantly, who she is today. And so remember that you are evolving, that as you become aware, as you reframe your thinking and you practice self-compassion and you practice offering yourself grace, taking inspired action, as you're on this path to manifesting what you want, you're evolving. Sometimes it's hard to appreciate yourself when you're evolving, and it's much prettier. And I can see this with myself, right? I will look at my student and say, wow, I really see her evolving and blossoming. And it's not all a straight line upwards. It's sometimes painful. It's like a birth. It's like a rebirth. It's like a moth turning into a butterfly. And it's a beautiful process to witness, but it's not always a beautiful process to experience. But really, I want to encourage you to embrace that evolution. And I also am trying to do that for myself. And your limiting beliefs and your blocks are going to soften. So, of course, there are more tips and techniques and more insights, but these are, I think, enough for today to help you get started. So before we leave, again, my manifesting workshop, it's a 90-minute manifestation deep dive discussion. The link is in the show notes. We are doing the raffle. So if you go ahead and write a review on Apple, and before you submit it, you take a screenshot and you send it to me on Instagram, barbie.collab. I will enter your name in a hat. I'm going to get a special hat for that. And we are going to do a drawing, but don't let it stop you, obviously, from buying, because if you do win, I'll just go ahead and refund you the money. Thank you so much for being here, for being a part of this journey. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And I think about you all week long. I really do, because I want to bring you the best content and to help you and me get to the next level of ourselves. I'll see you next week. Did you love that episode or what? Make sure to leave me a review and let's connect over on Facebook in Your Empowered Life community. I'll see you next time.